Yeah, Roberto Cortez here, marketing manager for LatinoTaxo.com. Today we have another live review. We have Roberto Pons here. Hey, Roberto, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's breaking up, but I can hear you.
It's probably the internet. It'll probably fix itself.
Now it's better.
All right, perfect. What's with the mask, Roberto?
Hey, at this time, you got to be wearing a mask everywhere all the time, you know? Anyway, let me take it off.
You gotta not spread it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's everything? Before we start, Roberto, you want to let people know who you are, qué haces, where you're from?
Okay, my name is Roberto Pons. I'm an enroll agent and in Miami Lakes, which is at the north end of Miami, in Miami, Florida-Dade County. I'm from Cuba, like a lot of people in Miami, originally being in the States for like almost 40 years. So I have lived most of my life in the United States, actually now. Anyway, in here, I do representation, I do bookkeeping and accounting, and of course, tax preparation. Mostly for high income taxpayer is a kind of a boutique kind of a practice. It's not a storefront. If you were to ask me, I probably file about 400 returns only a year. But most of them are business and they're business owners. So they're all high income, high taxes.
When you say high income, I mean, because that could mean it could be different for a lot of people. It could be 50,000, 100,000, half a million a year.
Okay, let me kind of put it on perspective. 80% of my clients are not going to qualify for the stimulus. I have clients that have paid $500,000 in taxes in any given year. Okay, some of them are like very wealthy people with companies, investments, properties. I mean, crazy. Okay. Anyway, I was the president of the Florida Society of Enrolled Agents 3 years ago. I have been teaching at the local chapter. I'm for Latino Tax Pro all over the country too. So that's who I am pretty much.
Perfect. And I've had my first Cuban food with you, Roberto, in Miami.
Well, I'm glad I introduced you to it. How did you like it?
Oh yeah, it was good. Como dicen, it had a lot of flavor, but it wasn't spicy.
No, Cuban food is not spicy, but hey, come back down again and I will take you to another place and you will get to enjoy not only the Cuban coffee, but the Cuban food, but the Cuban coffee.
Yeah, the coffee, todo. Perfect. So Roberto, talking about that, you were saying you have a lot of wealthy clients, small business owners. So you have some information on the PPP loans, right?
Yeah. As a background, before I was an enroll agent, and I became an enroll agent in 2004. So prior to that, I worked in banking operations for 20 years. So I have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge and a lot of friends that are still working banking. So when this PPP law and process started or it was signed up into law, number one, I read the whole law, which is because I guess I had nothing better to do. and I was looking at the tax part of it, but then I was looking also at what was it. And I realized that for banks, especially small banks, is going to be a heck, and it was a heck of a challenge to do this. This is a new program with a lot of people wanting to take advantage of it on a short period of time when no bank was equipped to handle it. It doesn't matter what size it was or not. Of course, the bigger bank have more people, more resources, and technically they should have been able to gear up faster, but that wasn't necessarily true. And I know there's a lot of people upset about not getting in on the first round, which, by the way, second round start on Monday. However, I had the feeling that most of the money is already spoken for. Anyway, but we'll see. A lot of people got upset with the banks, and everybody saying, "Oh, I'm going to change banks and this and that." And I understand the frustration. However, what I'm going to tell everybody is, do not change your banking relationship based on the PPP loans.
You don't think that's a good idea, Roberto? Because
I don't.
A lot of banks are saying we could help you, but you need to open up an account with us and give me all your business. So, what do you think about that?
They have to. Okay, if you know a little bit about banking law, you understand why. After 9/11, they passed the know your customer law, what is called know your customer. So now when you go to a bank, you need to provide a lot of information and they need to verify it, which wasn't the case before 9/11. Therefore, they cannot give you a loan if you're not a customer without verifying all this information of who you are to avoid fraud. That's why a lot of banks, most of the banks, took that step. You have to be our client, because that way they already had complied with that part of the law. That was a factor. Okay.
Okay, for everybody watching, because people are commenting, if you have any questions for Roberto about the PPP loans or just about himself, leave them down in the comment section. We'll get to them. And also let us know what you've experienced with PPP loans, what you've experienced and what your business clients have experienced.
Absolutely, Alberto. Any comment, any question, just let me know and I will address it. Okay.
Somebody's saying, I agree. What we were talking about before, but smaller banks are in with no need to open an account.
Absolutely, it's not a requirement for the PPP law and for you to open an account. However, it's still a requirement for the bank to comply with the know your customer law. And the easiest way to do that is to open an account. That's why, okay? As a matter of fact, I had a situation where somebody applied for the PPP. They were a client of the bank, but they had had the relationship for a long time, so they had to update the relationship, okay? Because it was so old that it was obsolete. So, and the person applied and got the loan, so everything was cool. But let me go back to what I was saying. You should bank with somebody that you develop a relationship with all the time. Not because it's a big bank. Convenience might have something to do with it, but understand this. Like I said, I was in banking for 20 years on operations. I know how it works on the inside, and I'm not going to mention names, but banks, especially big national banks, would look at your relationship based on how much money you make for them. So how much do you have on deposit on their account? What kind of account? So on, so on. All of those are factors. And I'm not going to say they handle PPP on that manner, but I know they do handle other things based on that. So I wouldn't be surprised. Now we're seeing this company that got the $5 million, huge companies. And you say, how come they took care of those people? Because those people made them money with their relationship. Okay? That's the way life is. On big banks, on big national banks. That's what I said. If you bank with a bank where you have a relationship, it's totally different. I have a situation. I was able to call the branch manager at his personal cell phone, okay? And he took care of everything. In less than a day, the application was submitted, was approved, and everything. That's what I mean by relationship. And that, I mean, it's like in your tax practice. Your clients come to you because of a relationship at the end of the day. That's why they keep coming back. Well, you need to see you as a client of a bank the same way. It's the relationship. Uh, Prior to this, if you want an SBA loan, you sit with a mortgage, with a loan broker and do the paperwork, and it took a few days and this and that, and you email and talk with him 25 times. Now, that's not the case. So a bank has to gear up to do everything electronically on a volume that they are not geared up to handle, because if you saw the PPP loan, how many people apply. And the SBA wasn't ready to handle that many applications. The banks were not ready to handle that many applications, especially when it's using a brand new process pretty much. Because it's okay, go ahead, DocuSign and sign here, and everything was that way, okay? I mean, I can tell specifically about one bank. I would call it a local bank, even though they have office in 2 states, okay? 60 some branches, medium size. It's not a small size bank, it's a medium size. They have under 2,000 employees. They have to gear up for this pretty much overnight. Thank God they have a good, robust IT department that was able to get the platform ready for that. However, understand this, the loans open the applications on a Friday. However, the SBA was giving instruction up to the day before. They were changing everything. That was a challenge for the banks. So this particular bank, okay, they got a whole bunch of applications. They ended up getting accepted because after you submit the application, they need to do the underwriting. Now, they're not geared up to do underwriting on those many loans at once. Now, the underwriting for PPP is very simple. They only had to verify a couple of things. Anyway, they did the underwriting. They ended up getting accepted about 2,700 loans, I believe, close to $1 billion.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. But here's the other challenge now. According to the law, this fund needs to be disbursed 10 days after approval. Imagine having to close 2,000 loans in 10 days. You don't have enough people, so they have pulled 10% of their workforce. They have pulled it just to handle all of this PPP law and madness, to do closings, to do funding, and everything. I know, for example, the people that are preparing the documents for closing, they are working 16, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
Okay.
This is all new, ¿verdad? Because everything just got thrown on them. So, Roberto, what I'm getting from you is maybe we should cut the banks a little break because all of this was thrown at them.
Honestly, yes, you're correct. All of this brand new was thrown at them with little guidance and with like the 10-day funding requirement, for example. Yeah, you as a business owner want your money really quick, and I understand that. That's not the problem. Problem is, you're not the only one in the bank that have a loan. Like I said, this particular bank have about 2,200 loans. They have people that have never closed a loan, that don't work with loan documents, creating them, working, like I said, 16 hours, 20 hours, 7 days a week, eating in front of the. I'm working remotely, by the way. Okay.
Yes, you are working from home still. Yeah.
Yes, with all those other challenge. Okay, eating while working. I mean, it has been rough for them too. You know, most people don't understand that because they don't see it.
Mhm.
For personal reasons, I had the opportunity to see it live, and honestly,
Mhm.
it is rough for them. Okay.
So what you're saying, Roberto, is that banks are people too. Same thing with clients. Go to their tax pro and start demanding questions and answers. It's the same thing.
Well, exactly. Now, from a tax professional point of view, for example, as this PPP started, we all got inundated with calls and emails about it from our business clients, okay? Even from Schedule C clients. And you would tell them this is what you need to do, and they don't understand. And so you spend countless hours sometimes trying to deal with this. And then, on top of that, for us, they threw the stimulus checks in.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting emails and calls, and do I qualify? When would I get it? A lot of my clients pay every year because my tax planning is part of it. Is you don't give the money interest free to the government for the year. That's that's not a good thing. So a lot of my clients ended up owing money. So what happened now is if they qualify, the IRS didn't have their bank information. So they had to go to get my payment and put their information in. And guess what was happening?
So what was happening?
That error that we don't know if you qualify, your status, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
was coming up. So you have to tell them, okay, go to get my payments, input your data. If your data is up, you can put your bank information. However, don't be surprised if this message come up. If it come up, keep trying every day.
Mm.
Finally, yesterday, we have to understand the IRS was put in a very tough situation too.
Mhm. Very
They're
tough.
locked down, and all of a sudden they need to send all these checks all out and all this and program all of that. It's not like,
Mhm.
oh, they have that information. So finally, yesterday they decided, okay, we're going to shut down to get my payment for a
Mhm.
few hours, so we can upload the information. And several clients today have answered to me saying, "Oh, finally, I was able to
Mm.
input it there."
Nice.
So that might be a relief for a lot of people. Okay, I do not use bank products because that's not my client base, but I
What happened with
understand
bank products, Roberto?
I understand the challenge that
Mm.
has been for a lot of people, that a lot of office that use bank products, client calling them all kinds of names and everything and so on. I
Yeah.
understand those that offer not only the tax offices, but even the banks that offer the bank products. It's also a challenge for them.
Mhm.
So that's why a lot of them decided let's return the payments back.
Mhm. Yeah. I heard some of the banks were against it and some were for it, and that they had plans with the IRS on how they were going to disperse the funds. And at the end of the day, nothing worked, and it was chaos. Yeah.
Listen, if you know somebody who have a programming experience,
Mhm.
ask them to reprogram your system to send these checks out,
Yeah.
whatever, in such a short period of time.
Hmm.
I
And
mean,
how much money was given out? Like billions of dollars. Like.
and how much more is still
Mhm.
out there that they will be sending out.
We have a few comments here. Let's get to them. Again, everybody watching, if you have any other comments, leave them down below and we'll get to them. Somebody saying, is this true? And it goes to an article. Trump signs into law $484 billion bill that replenishes coronavirus aid program for small businesses. Is that what you were talking about, Roberto? It's going to
Yeah,
open on Monday?
yeah, the PP loan is going to be open again by the SBA on Monday. They had to close it because they ran out of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it got replenished, they're going to open it again on Monday.
How did it get replenished, Roberto? How are they funding this?
With the okay, the original was the CARE Act.
Yeah.
Okay, now the second was the one that just passed yesterday in the House, and a couple of it's already a couple of weeks ago, I put a comment on Facebook, on my personal
Mhm.
Facebook. Uh, for whatever reason, some people allow politics to be part of this.
Yes.
And all of those business owners that didn't get the money and we're waiting to be replenished, they have to look at the politicians. And when the time comes, maybe they should pass them a bill, okay? Because from the moment that it was open, it was known that it was going to run out. Some politicians tried to replenish it, and others tried to no, they put an obstacle trying to add things that had nothing to do. The PPP for small businesses, okay? It had nothing to do with the small businesses and so on. And the percentage of people that are employed by small businesses is humongous. And they were let out, hang out to dry by not replenishing the fund. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are, 12, 14 days later, now it's finally replenished.
Finally, but they're saying that that money's already gone.
Nobody has said that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm,
And if it is, then it will last 48 hours. Because on the first round, there was a lot of applications submitted to the SBA
mm-hmm.
that didn't get funded because they ran out of money. The SBA have those applications. As soon as money come in, they're going to fund those applications.
Mm. Here's another comment. Bank of America didn't help us out. We've had an account for over 30 years with Bank of America, Roberto. What do you think about
I'm not going to mention banks' names
that?
specifically. But, you know, loyalty to banks, especially to some banks, especially to some huge banks, national banks, is count in dollars, not on the number of years that you have your account with them. Okay. Uh, I worked, like I said, in banking for 20 years. Several times I worked for one of the biggest banks in the country. Okay.
Mhm.
I was a VP on operations for them. And I mean, I'm not going to go into details, but I got directive all the way from headquarters telling me stop doing this thing this way because this is the way we want to do it. And it was based on the amount of money that the client had in the bank, nothing else.
Got it. So, um, with our local bank here in Salinas, they told us the same thing. They could help us out, but we have to give them our whole business. Well, I know we spoke about this a little bit in the morning about compliance. Can you talk about that again? Because we have some more people that joined us.
Well, like I said a while ago, after September 11, bunch of laws were passed. One of them was the Know Your Client law that referred to banking. So when you're going to open a relationship with a bank, whatever it is, they need to do some due diligence. And we know what due diligence is. They
Yeah,
need to do due diligence on their
well,
clients.
we better know what due diligence is. Everybody watching.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, so they have to do due diligence on their clients. What happens is, if you're not a client of that bank, you're not a customer of that bank, and you go now and ask for the loan, they need to start before even getting the application, they need to do the due diligence on you. And that would basically mean they have to stop helping their clients to help somebody who is not a client become a client.
They're not a client, and they don't even know if you could pay it back or not. They don't.
Well, on this particular loan, the PPP loan, the risk for the bank as far as getting repaid is zero. Okay? Actually, the bank has no risk whatsoever. It's an SBA guarantee loan. So the bank has no risk. It's from a financial standpoint. As a matter of fact, one bank headquarters in your state, California, stopped taking application because they said, oh, we reached the limit imposed by regulators. And it took a couple of days, but the regulator said, no, wait a minute. That limit does not apply in this situation because of the nature of the loan. And like I said, I'm not mentioning names, okay? But it's a California bank, well-known, national, huge bank, okay? But yeah, that's why a lot of banks only wanted to deal with their customers.
Because again, it goes back, they already have the relationship with them.
They already had the due diligence process done, okay? Now, let me translate this, how it worked for a tax professional, okay? You have a business client that want to apply for the PPP loan, and they ask you to help them with the documentation that is required. At the same time, somebody walked into your office and said, I have a business, I want to apply for the PPP loan, can you help me? And you have to choose who to help, your client or this potential new client that might not even develop into a client.
Yeah.
Who are you going to help? You're going to give priority to your client. It's simple. I mean, so the banks were put on the same position.
That's a good way of saying it. A tax preparer, you're sitting in front, your client's there. You get a walk-in that you've never seen before that wants help with something. What are you going to do?
Exactly. Exactly. You're going to take care of your loyal client first. If you have time, you handle the others.
Yeah, that's a great point, Roberto. From a lot of your small business clients, how many of them applied and how many of them have gotten funded?
All those that apply that I help, except one, all of them got approved. And most of them are already funded, okay? I'm not going to say all of them, but like I said, all those that I help, except one, everybody else did. Some of them know better because we have clients that know more than you and decided to do it on their own and without listening to advice. Guidance was bad. I mean, I know I heard of bank asking you to include your 1099s. Well, 1099s are no part of payrolls. So they don't qualify for the PPP. So I had client, well, I need to include my 1099. No, you don't. So they included. What happened is,
what happened?
Didn't get approved.
Because I heard, correct me if I'm wrong again, Roberto, but I heard with this application is very picky. If you apply once and something is wrong, it's going to take a long time for you to be able to apply again.
Yeah, of course, because there's so many of them that now you go to the back of the pile.
Yes.
Okay. This is our normal time when you go to sit with a law officer and he tells you, oh, I need this other documentation, and you send an email the next day or whatever. No, that's not the case in here. And the bank underwriting is just look at the basically, look at the 940 W2s, W3s. Okay, 2.5% if there's nothing over $100,000, 2.5%. That's the amount. That's it. If in that number you start including 1099s and things like that, some people misread the law and were including utilities and rent on the application. No, that's for the use of funds, not for the application.
Okay, do you feel that there's still a lot of business owners out there that need help filling out this application? Because how you're saying maybe they don't know what payroll is, they think 1099 they have to include it, or utilities.
Yes, there's a lot of people that need help. Okay, there's a lot of people that need help, and there's a lot of business that are not going to survive. Okay, that's a reality.
Who is going to survive, Roberto? According to your opinion, what business do you feel is set to survive? The ones that adapt quickly, the ones that have loyal customers. What do you think they have in common?
In my opinion, those that are not going to survive are those that, and honestly, had nothing to do with coronavirus, are those that were not doing things correct to begin with. So now they don't qualify for the loans. Commerce have stopped for all intent and purposes for a lot of them, and they have no income, they have no reserve. I keep saying this, and normally most of my clients are not in this situation, but what percentage of employees in the United States are 2 paychecks away from being homeless? Well, now those paychecks stop. What happened? And here's the worst part, especially, I mean, I see it in South Florida all the time. People paying thousands of dollars on rents, driving a leased Mercedes, and have $10 on their bank account. When a situation like this happened, what happened? And here in South Florida, we are subject to hurricanes, for example. So you should be ready to deal with that. And they were not. I have a phone call from a non-client referred from a client. This person is not going to survive, in my opinion, and he probably deservedly so. And let me give you the background. He has 6 vans that transport people from the airport to hotels, from hotels to the port, port for cruises, and so on. Now, these 6 vans, of course, have drivers that are subcontractors, 1099s. Really? So he doesn't qualify for the PPP. But you know what happened? Those were never subcontractors. They were his employees. And in order for him to save Social Security and Medicare, have been mistreating those employees for a long time. I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for that guy.
I had a conversation a week ago with somebody, same situation. Clients that he has pay their employees with cash abajo de la mesa, and now they want to apply for this PPP loan. But what do you tell those people?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have any client on that situation because when you become a client,
might have that client. What do you think they should tell those people?
When I get a new client, I tell them what the rules are. What is an employee? What is a subcontractor? So on, so on, so on. And I tell them you follow those rules, and you will be my client. If you don't want to follow those rules, I'm sure you can find somebody else that will handle your business, but I won't. I won't be part, because at the end of the day, that turned to be tax fraud, and I won't be part of it. First, they're abusing those people. They're paying them less than what they should be paid. They are undercutting their competition because they can offer a cheaper service because they're abusing their employees. That's not right to the employees. That's not right to businesses. And on top of that, their employees get a 1099, go to do their taxes somewhere, and wherever they go, that person said, well, yeah, you should be an employee, but you're a 1099. Let me create some expenses so you don't owe that much. So what's happening is if you handle that client that way, like I said, you're perpetuating tax fraud, and I won't be part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just won't.
Goes back to ethics and due diligence.
Well, you know what? You want to make sure your client treat his employees and he treat his customers the same way that you would like to be treated.
Interesting. Okay, another comment. What documentation is required for the PPP loan?
Okay, basically, what they are requiring is 940s, 941s, W3s, and W2s. I have heard of the bank asking for other stuff, but I mean, if they ask you, you give it to them, but it's not really necessary. I know a bank, for example, asked for the article of incorporation, which are available online. So no big deal, but they can be looking for article of incorporation for a whole bunch of clients. So it's like, hey, you get it, you send it to me. They need 940s, 941 W3s, and maybe W2s to check because if somebody's over the $100,000, only $100,000 count for PPP. Other than that, nothing else is necessary.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I asked you, Roberto, about small businesses needing help because at Latino Tax Pro, we want to connect our members with small business owners that need help. Because right now, our members need clients and small business owners need help. So for anybody watching, if you want to be part of this program, let us know that you're willing to help in your local area and we'll reach out to you with more information.
Now, hold on 1 minute. Let me make sure we're clear on this. And when the business owner that get a PPP loan, they have to sign a note and so on. They have to sign documentation. And please don't make your client commit fraud by signing this documentation. And this is where I'm going. One of the things on the document that you need to sign said, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it said. That they are not going to use any of the proceeds from the loan to pay any third-party agent to help them filing this loan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And like I said, if it is your longtime client, at this time, this person is hurting, why would you charge them for something that is going to take you no time whatsoever if you have been doing their accounting and so on?
Yep.
Okay? They're your client, they're loyal. You're no business partner with them. I understand that, okay? But they need help at this moment, more than you do, okay? You can devote half an hour to put together 940s, 941 W3s and send it to them. I'm not telling you to do their application. They should be able to do it because it's very simple. Okay, you can do the calculation if you want and tell them this is what is the calculation. That is simple. Okay, so, but furthermore, they're not supposed to pay you for it. And when they sign, they're saying they didn't.
That's another form of fraud right there.
Well, I got a call from a non-client asking me about not only the PPP but the EIDL loan and so on. And my accountant is going to handle it. He's going to do the They fill out the application, so on. So he's only charging me 1% of the loan. And I went, what? He can't. It's illegal.
I've heard people charging thousands, Roberto.
Me too.
Mm.
Me too. And honestly, that's unconscionable. And I vented on Facebook about that too.
Mm.
Okay. And that's one of the reasons why you do it for clients and non-clients rather than non-clients. It shouldn't take you more than half an hour to put all the information together for your client. No, even that, but let's say half an hour.
Okay, perfect. With that, Roberto, is there any final words of wisdom you want to tell our members during these hard times?
Well, like I said, hang in there. April 15 came and went, and it wasn't the end of tax season. The way I look at it, yeah, our income might have been reduced at this time, but it only means it have been delayed. Not that it's gone.
Delayed.
Okay, it's delayed because I mean I have seen it normally because of the influx of companies and clients that I have. By April 15, I mean my amount, my income is humongous, and it isn't this time, and it's not because they're gone. It's because they're being delayed.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it is. So hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you gotta.
3 months left, 2.5 months of tax season.
Well, almost 3 months. Yeah, plus extensions. Okay.
Plus extensions. Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I have on my queue. I can tell you a whole bunch of returns finished that haven't been transmitted.
Mm.
Client haven't signed. Sometimes we don't want to send it because of the stimulus payments, things like that. So
perfect. Thanks for your time, Roberto, for coming on. Thank you, everybody watching. I just want to let everybody know that we have a Cinco de Mayo raffle going on. LatinoTaxPro.com and click on the banner at the top. We are giving away a Dell computer, tax software, a scanner, a signature pad, a free website, and a ticket to Latino Tax Fest. And we'll be announcing our winner May 5th during one of these live shows here. And we might get some more sponsors to sign up. So there'll be more products. And sorry, Roberto, you cannot enter.
no tequila.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hey, Cinco de Mayo, come on.
We'll try to get some tequila in here. All right. Thanks, Roberto. Thanks, everybody watching. We'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you, Roberto. Have a good day. Okay.
You too. Bye.
Bye.